Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Very warm good morning to the participants. I am very thankful to the faculty of Sindh University, particularly the Vice Chancellor, that have invited me to have a debate and discussion with you in context of a very new domain, that is cyberspace. This is very critical in the sense that it's a new domain. Everything from the land space, air space, and even from maritime space is being shifted towards cyberspace, rather connected to the cyberspace. Therefore, now in this globalization, it's very critical to have some discussion and a debate with regard to this cyberspace. So, to start with, I will discuss the human domain where we are operating, that is our society, particularly our own society, where we are functioning, where we are operating, because it's very important and inevitable to discuss the operating environment that we are functioning in. I can characterize the society having the positives and the negatives. Positive of our society mainly consists of younger generation. The Pakistani society mainly consists in more than 70% of a younger generation. It's an asset to us because younger generation is a harbinger of a positive change. They have a very fertile mind and they have a much vibrancy in their thoughts. So this is the strongest point in our society. The success stories I can quote in our modern times in our society, where the society has succeeded in combating the challenges. Number one is the anti-terrorism campaign that was successfully, terrorism was contained. And number two is the challenge of pandemic. The Pakistani society has successfully contained the this pandemic challenge. These two templates, anti-terrorism campaign and the pandemic challenge dealing by our society, has a very serious repercussions on the future progress of a country, because these two templates are being imitated and even followed by the global level, appreciated at the global level, that these challenges were successfully made by the Pakistani society. But besides, there are so many weaknesses of the society, which I call the challenges of the society. Number one is the polarization in society. Polarization between the conservatives and liberals, polarization on sectarian basis, polarization on the ethnic basis, and so on and so forth. The second one is fifth generation warfare. What is the fifth generation warfare? Which we call it asymmetrical warfare, meaning thereby that emotions are more important than the facts, than the empirical evidence. And the third one, though it is related to two other already narrated variables, is the centrifugal forces and centripetal forces in a society. Now coming back to the cyberspace, this is some sort of an virtual space, very different from the material space. Material means the land space, the maritime space, air space. It's a virtual space. But this virtual space is to be regulated by human behavior. Because at the bottom of things, every technology has been discovered, operated by the humans. So that's why this regulation of human behavior in the cyberspace is very important. Because in every space or every domain, there are some benefits of something and there are losses of something. There are pros and cons of any conduct or behavior of a human activity. Therefore, this cyberspace is to be regulated by the state. That's why the Pakistani government or state of Pakistan has legislated upon the law, which is known to be a PICA, Pakistan Electronics Act. And law is the variable which forbids something and allows something, the human activity. So that law was promulgated by the legislatures, by the government of Pakistan, which allows some variables and would bans some variables. But this law is also evolving because this is a new technology, this domain is new to Pakistan, and transition is a new one from material world to the cyberspace. So this law is also evolving. Thought process is also evolving. So the society is thinking of making some corrections in the PICA law itself. Because of the more evolving of technology itself, more development of technology itself, on a daily basis, there is a new version of technologies. Therefore, to keep a pace with the new emerging technologies, the law is to be subjected to a positive change, which we call it corrections. Now I am coming to the challenges which we are facing in Pakistan in context of cyberspace. The FIA has been mandated exclusively to investigate the cyberspace crimes. This PICA law empowers the FIA to investigate the cyberspace crimes. So the quantum of a challenge, I am telling you that last year we received 1 lakh complaints, and even in this year, till today, we have received more than 60,000 complaints. Meaning thereby that challenge in context of complaints is seriously high. Vis-a-vis resources. We have resources, I am talking about now the resource constraints. We have a human resource of approximately 5,000 or 6,000 people in cyberspace crimes. And in context of technology, we have only 5 labs in entire Pakistan. Therefore, we are suffering from resource deficit. But because of this resource deficit, vis-a-vis challenges, we have successfully performed well. In the last year, we have convicted approximately 38 cases. Because of being new domain, because of the resource constraint vis-a-vis challenges, I think that this performance is not meager. There is a lot to be done. There is always room for the improvement, but vis-a-vis resources, this appears to be good. Now I am coming to the accessibility, how the people of Pakistan or agreed person can have access to the FIA for the investigation of any cybercrime. Number one is an email. Anybody, any agreed person can make an access to the FIA through email, which has been displayed on the website of FIA. Number two is through correspondence, through letters. We receive it. And even agreed person can walk into the FIA offices. They are mainly located in the provincial headquarters. For the monitoring of this whole system of accessibility, we have devised a system of case management, which is in the process of completion. It's a computer-based automated program which is in the pipeline of completion. Then after the registration of an FIR, the first information report, it goes to the judiciary for the adjudication of the cases, for the appreciation of the evidence. And finally, the case either is acquitted or convicted, and accused are being brought to justice. These are the things which is a trajectory or chronology of the complaints to the conviction or acquittal. Now, what are the initiatives the FIA has undertaken? Because the challenge is very high vis-a-vis resources, vis-a-vis changing of the circumstances and the development of a new version of technology. We have embarked upon having taken an initiative which I am discussing with you. Number one is the most important is the awakening to the masses, particularly the younger generation, because the younger generation mostly uses the internet. The most complaints we receive are from the students. Therefore, awakening to these segment of the society is very important. Still today, people doesn't know what is cybercrime, what is good thing to be done on cyberspace, and what are the bad things which are forbidden by law. So therefore, we have initiated in programs to educate, guide the population at large. This lecture is one of the ingredients of that program, that we should educate the masses so far as this cybercrime is concerned. In that context, we have signed a memorandum of understanding with 7 universities. The government of Pakistan has spotted 7 universities like NAD University, like NUST, Air University, Bahria University, The government is pumping so much budget into these universities for this research programs so far as cyber security is concerned. So we have signed a memorandum of understanding with these all universities. We are taking the internees from these universities. I am very happy to inform you that in the last year, in this month of December, we have received in 1 month 19,000 internship applications. And because of resource constraint, we were constrained to only admit some of them. But you see the society's response from academia to this cyber investigations. And number two, we are also engaging these universities for the research programs. We want to have indigenous solutions to the problems. We should not be dependent upon international variables, though international variables are important, but we want indigenous solutions. And these universities are designated, or these programs has been chalked out to have some indigenous solutions, like the innovations and discoveries of the softwares which can help us for the prevention of cyber crimes and for the detection of cyber crimes. Number two is a resource pumping. Government of Pakistan has pumped money and budget into the cyber crime wing in FIA. Though it is incremental, but because of the pandemic, the man budget has been shifted to the health sector, but still Government of Pakistan is pumping money into this cybercrime wing to cope up with the situation. The next one is the cyber patrolling. This is very important aspect in context of cybercrime. Just like police patrols the streets in order to curb the crime, we also make an patrolling in the cyberspace. Though we are resource deficit, but we use the open source softwares of cyber patrol taking from the Googles. And I am giving in an example of this cyber patrolling in the recent past. I will not quote the exact name, but in the recent past of this tendency of extremism in Punjab, the FIA has contained to nil the social cyber activity of extremist organization, and that extremist organization has been defeated in cyberspace rather than on the physical space. So it was defeated to nil. Their activities was diminished to nil, zero, and the cases were registered against them. Accused were arrested, and their social cyber activity has been diminished to nil. And the next one is international cooperation. International cooperation is of a critical importance because all those mobile companies, they are located in other than overseas, other than from Pakistan. They are operating from other countries, particularly the USA. So we must have some international, sometimes yes, Facebook is responding Sometimes Twitter is responding because retrieving of an information or evidence, it is necessary to be retrieved from these companies. But sometimes they cooperate, sometimes they don't. We operate through Interpol with these companies. We operate through mutual legal assistance programs, but unfortunately we don't have any mutual legal assistance treaties with these countries. So we are now trying to sign treaties, mutual legal assistance treaties with these countries to have a more information and retrieval of evidence from these companies. And finally, the synergy, multi-domain synergy, because this is a very complex world, very unpredictable world, very complex in nature, and because of the high risk of the challenges in the cyberspace, we need a synergy of all stakeholders, which include law enforcement agencies like FIA, police, intelligence agencies, paramilitary forces, army, and the most important is the academia, which we are now being engaged with, because academia is seriously and critically important. Everything, the positive developments emanates from universities. Universities are the strategic assets for us. Therefore, the cooperation, collaboration, complement and supplement of the efforts and unity of a purpose of all these stakeholders is of a critical importance. We are engaging everybody, which I have quoted it. So, inshallah, this will augur well in future. Last but not the least, we are also committed to rule of law, due process of law, and fair trials, because these variables like rule of law, due process of law is enshrined in Constitution of Pakistan. It will diminishes any prejudices, biases of a caste, color, creed, which I have quoted. It will diminishes the polarization in society. It will diminishes this fifth generation warfare, and it will diminishes these centrifugal and centripetal forces, and make our society more healthy and wealthy. So at the end, once again, I am very thankful to the faculty that they have given me an opportunity to engage with the younger generation. Thank you very much.